Hello, welcome to my totally original series. I've done this intro like 5 times now because I can never get it correct. But this is my second recording of this video because in the first one I couldn't, well, OBS did not like my microphone. But I'm not blaming OBS, it was just my microphone. It was bad. Couldn't turn out. They done something wrong with it. And yeah, and I have to do a voiceover now because it decided that it wants to be extremely bass booted and like 15 plus decibels. So yeah. Anyway, why civilization started over? It's a concept that's definitely never been around before. I know it's shocking. Yeah, like we've got like 50 attitude or something already done it. Yeah, I don't care to really understand. Sorry, I just want to do it. But okay, so how does this one start? So basically, in the human missile crisis, instead of being like an influential event and nothing like too bad about it, escalated a full-blown nuclear war, forcing what little is left of humanity into deep bunkers. Now, by the time like all the infrastructure and stuff has all decayed, people have come out and probably don't remember a thing about original life. It's probably been like thousands of years until the world's actually livable again. But so in India, it was like after they've like come up, the first civilization starts here in India. So when by the time the civilization has started, these are the areas that well they know about, and after some time of redoing human history, like farming and stuff, the red team is created. Now the red team is a monarchy, which yeah, of course they are monarchy. It's safe to assume that for this for this year and the video to come, it's probably a monarchy. Yeah. So now they'll, start expanding southwards, going along the coast and reaching, I don't know what river that is. And after that, they start to explore some more. They go up that river I don't know the name of again, into the evergreen forest and up into the dry areas. I can't remember the name of that. But yeah, it's pretty dry there. So they keep exploring. They find the weird delta in Bangladesh. I don't know if that's that. Yeah, this is basically what the world looks like by this point. And so yeah, they'll expand, just a bit more. They don't take the Bangladesh areas, but okay. So now there's a choice elimination. So the rich people want to like go there because it's more profitable in that type of forest. But the king wants to go up there because it's drier and more defensive there. And it's the king. So yeah, go up there. This kind of leaves all the rich people and people with all the money, I think they're called nobles at this time, it leaves them kind of angry. And so what they do, the most logical thing to do in this scenario is leave. So they form their own country, and the red team's like, the king's like, okay, we're screwed economically. All the rich people have left, and I can't afford to invade there because I can't pay my military. So we'll just leave them be, I guess. Not happy about it though. And so now the purple team, I'm still calling them purple, they will, start exploring and expand down to the south because that's where more of those profitable forests. Okay, so just to say, the time period is like this all happening over like hundreds of years. So basically, now what's happening there, team is there's a drought there, and the king's kind of like does not paying that much attention to it. So what the people that are gonna do is, well, they're gonna just revolt against the red team. Let me just change the color. Actually, it's a bit light. And so yeah, they start a war, and they start pushing against. But by this time, the Red Team's military can actually invade, and so they do start pushing back. But by the time they reach this river, it's like becoming not that. There isn't really a point anymore. The capital was already in the east. So they just sign a peace treaty. It's not that big of a deal anymore. So once they've gotten that whole drought situation of people dying under control, they start expanding north, since they can't really expand anywhere else. And luckily for them, they start exploring the area and find, well, this is really flat and good land to farm in, and probably to make you much stronger than the ranking game of any future was. Not foreshadowing. Meanwhile, the purple team has by this time probably found out South India and discovered Sri Lanka, and they probably also have, taken, expanded into the territories. So they start expanding into there. Probably to the annoyance of the red team, but while they just also want the brown team. And the brown team has just expanded into the Indus River, I think that's what it's called, which is really good for like farming and stuff. So this gives like a massive advantage, especially since the land there is mostly flat. And because of this, the red team, that response, so they decide to expand into Bangladesh. It's not as good, but rivers are rivers, they're really good for farming. And so they start to expand north. Now, in the purple team, not a lot of good stuff is happening. You see, these people, they're being exploited, those people, they're being exploited, and so they rise up against the pink purple team. Yeah, we call the pink purple team. So yeah, they start to invade and actually, so this area just breaks away since they don't want to be part of the purple team, but they also kind of align with the purple pink team, so they just leave so they don't get invaded. Meanwhile, the purple team, the pink purple team, is like really not liking this war, so they just sign a peace to, you know, not have to deal with it. Meanwhile, up north, though both of the red and brown team both want this area here. So when the brown team, like when the brown team invades, the red team is like hell no and launches an invasion there. This is like the second red brown war in history. I'm pretty sure. I did right on my first episode. So yeah, the Indus Valley has given the brown team an advantage, make it more fair between the two. And right now the red team's military is kind of disarray. The brown team also doesn't expand close to the areas. This. They reach up to these two rivers, and but then the red team starts to push in from the south. So it's kind of an even match right now. The brown team is pushing into some of the more valuable areas though, which puts the red team at a disadvantage. Meanwhile, in the near Caspian Sea along the Persian coast, a new civilization is popping up, which is totally unrelated to the Indian one. So by this time they know about those areas and make them green. I made them green because green, I'm not too sure. But yeah, they start exploring around the Caspian Sea, and I'd like to mention that this is taking place over a long time. By now, I think um, it's been around 500 years since India. So let's add another one. China exists now. Yeah, so China, I think I should probably mention that none of these nations know about each other except for the ones in India. They're completely separate. Like the Indian map only shows India. Anyways, back to the Caspians. They will continue to expand around the Caspian Sea and eventually reach the Black Sea, which is cool, I guess, more ocean. And they also discover Crimea, which is cool, even more ocean. So they expand their territory into to around the full Caspian Sea, and they are begin expanding into Crimea and the Caucasus. Don't know if that's the Caucasus or not, but yeah. Anyways, meanwhile in China, they've also been doing some exploring on their own. They reach up there, they also expand somewhere some south, and they start expanding into Korea and Manchuria. Now, in Korea, the explorers there have actually decided to not be part of China and instead, oh, it's on film. They've decided to be part of their own country, which is away from China, not to the Chinese. Uh, Oh yeah, Southeast Asia exists. Does India know about it? They're about to. And so yeah, the red team does some exploring into what's like Burma, Myanmar, and parts of Thailand. The Malay Peninsula, I'm not sure if it's called actually. But the red team will be expanding there. Now back to the brown team. See, that's where the capital is. Yet most of the like economic stuff is over there and farming stuff is there, which is bad because the government doesn't really care for the people there. So what do the people do? They revolt. Now the brown military is strong, but that is where most of their economy and it's really powerful there. So even though the brown team they do manage to push in there, they are not able to get that northern area because it's the red team. Red team again does not like the brown team. They don't like each other. So the red team starts an invasion because the brown team is distracted. They can take over the brown team, which they would really like. But and so the brown team lets them have their independence to focus on the red team, and they're doing a surprisingly good job. This isn't good. Oh, that's really not good. Yeah, well, I guess the purple team's invading the red team now. You know what? And the red team goes, you're killed, just not, okay, and they surrender. The borders, I guess, yeah, they'll just keep it like that. But these guys, they get independence because the party gradually came before. And with their newfound independence, they're losing exploring because they can't really do what they are. So they cross over the Himalayas, like that small region with like Afghanistan is in real life, and they start to expand. So they expand north because they can't really expand anywhere else. They're kind of blocked off by mountains. And so, yeah, they also don't want to cross that path, which leaves explorers in these areas abandoned. So, what to do when they're abandoned? Yeah, who would have guessed? They found the country. Yeah, I don't think it would have been a good idea for them to have tried to cross those mountains. Anyway, back to the Line Caspian country. So there, the king there is actually focusing more on the European part. So they are exploring a lot of the European part because it's a much better climate than whatever is going on there. Gets a bit cold, but it's also really dry. Now, meanwhile, in the east of the country where few people live, the king is focusing a bit too much and they're kind of not good. So what happens? Who would have guessed? Another country. It's a Latvian country this time. They take control over most of the actual land there. So They kicked the king out. Well, somehow he isn't executed. He probably fled there, and the people aren't bothered enough to go all the way back there. So, now the Lion team is forced to expand westwards into Europe, and they eventually become Romanian. That's right, Romanians are actually from the Caspian Sea. Who would have guessed? I before made a joke about them being black people because I thought the Caspian Sea was the Black Sea. I'm just stupid and I'm gonna get cancelled. Anyway, I want to mention that like these two countries are really close to discovering each other. Like the dark green and the orange country. They're really close to discovering that each other exists. If you can see here, they're like right there. But I feel like doing that for maybe another episode. Meanwhile, we're going back to India, of course, because of course we are. So, these two countries, they don't like each other. Remember? I think that was kind of obvious. So, the brown one, they actually want to build a wall to stop red team invasion since they had a support invasion last time. But you're probably wondering, the border's fuzzy, how they do it. They do it and try to solidify the border like that, which I'm pretty sure it marks the first actual solid border in human history, which is pretty early on. But yeah, most of those other ones are still fuzzy. And so I think I'll end this episode off for today. It's like, 70 and 4 minutes. It's fair enough. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Or whatever. I don't know. I'll be making a part 2 anyways. Okay. Bye bye guys.